Hey Ryan, Coach here, America's Baseball Camps, just touching base. Thanks for coming to the camp this past weekend in Montana, and just wanted to go over some few things on your mechanics and things that I see that we can maybe work on with a couple of drills to do and break down your swing with some lines and drawings and things. So let's go ahead and get started here. Watching your swing and your setup. Setup looks really good as far as for your stance. Let's go ahead and back it up here. In regards to our swing, our stance, I really like where your knees are at. They're inside of your feet. Your feet distance is good, past your shoulders. Your hands are in a really good launch position area. Your eyes are on the baseball. Your bat angle is very nice to have it kind of in a launch load position. It's going to create good bat speed. Your belly button to your posture up, really good. So really good shape. You can tell you're a really good athlete. And things to that effect. So now we're going to go into our next phase, which is our stride foot. And there's a couple things. We do stand pretty 50-50, meaning with your weight, you don't really have a lot of load or separation. I would encourage to get some type of load going. I like to have it not a lot of movement, but all you're doing is if you watch your swing here, all you do is just pick up your foot and goes forward. And what we need to do is we kind of need to create something going backwards before we go forward. So you can kind of start 50-50, load up to maybe 70% on your back leg and 30% on your front leg, and then go into stride. It's going to help you with power as you get older and start playing on longer, bigger fields. So let's go into what's called our stride foot. What we want to do, as I get into stride foot here, I'm going to stop. There's your stride foot. So you took your stride. The first thing we're going to do is look at this front foot here. You can see how that's kind of turned. Your front foot is kind of turned out a little bit. And what at that point of your swing, I would like to see your heel be more up in this area and have that heel be facing more this fence over here. You'll notice right now when you take your stride that you kind of step, putting your toe towards the pitcher a little bit. And what that does is that's going to take away a lot of power. So when you do that, make sure when you stride, put your heel where that green circle is and have it be pointing over there. So that's going to keep your knees inside of your feet, kind of like this back one, and it's going to make you more balanced for pitchers that throw harder, be able to hit all parts of the field more, and just become a better hitter. So that's a biggie in regards to that. And make sure you'll see when you land on that foot, you'll see that you kind of put your whole foot down. I want to keep that back heel up off the ground just a hair, and land and really use the ball of my foot compared to just being your feet. Your weight is outside of your foot right now on that front leg. So that's something important here. As I go through to finish, and you do a good job with your hands when you do that stride foot. You do come forward. You can see as when I take my step, as my front foot lands, my hip and my head are done going forward. So if I put a line right here and a line right there, you want to make sure that your hip and hands are going forward. And what you want to do is you're kind of pushing off that back leg into the front leg instead of once that land foot hits, just to rotate into it. So that's something really to work on off the tee, that you can really work on taking that back hip into the front hip. And basically what you're doing is you're taking that back knee into the front knee is mentally what we're trying to do here. As far as for your bat path is really nice, and it's nice and flat through the ball. You do get a little bit of lead with hands a little bit. You kind of glide up front. You can see right here where your barrel's way back here and your hands are out in front, and we need to do a better job of releasing that barrel to make sure that that thing gets through the zone. So when you're here, you're a lot of hands, and you can see that knob's right at the pitcher. And then we are a little bit late behind this ball, and you hit it well a little bit away, but we need to make sure that we're going to kind of snap those hands, not over, but snap those hands through the baseball and let that barrel really release. The other thing at this right here, you'll see is, and again, you're going to get away with this with pitchers that don't throw as hard because you're such a good athlete and that type of thing. But if you start facing guys that are outside your state and guys that start throwing the ball pretty well and you are late, you'll know the reason why that you didn't get that barrel to release on you and get that barrel where your hands were kind of dragging on you. You can see your hands are supposed to be coming first and inside the baseball, but make sure it releases on those guys that throw a little bit harder. At this part of your swing, the few changes we need to make, as far as for your posture, it's great. You can see this front foot here as I draw a circle around it. And let me back up here a couple frames. That front foot, freeze at contact here. That front foot is a little bit open. You can see there's a slight bend in this front leg, and this front leg needs to be firm. And I think that's important. I want to take the biggest thing is taking this back hip and getting way up here. So you want to hit against a firm, closed front side. We're not getting that hip rotation. We're getting more of a glide where you can see you kind of push off the back foot and end up where you kind of glide forward instead of rotating into the ball and go forward. And you can see we don't get a complete rotation with this back foot. We're more up on our toe, or we want to be on the ball of our foot. So stay on the ball of your foot on that back side, and that's going to take this little section of your hip and take it to the front side. So that hip should be more up in this area, and this firm front side to this, and then this foot would be more closed, not pointing that way, but more a little bit closed, more pointing towards the dugout for the guys over on this part of the field or on the first baseline. Your head on contact is good. Palm up, palm down position is in good shape. But again, at this point of your swing, you can see we kind of fell off balance. That front foot is really opened up. That back foot is not rotated. And at this point of your swing, you want to be able to hold your finish and have this line, to have a really good line and bend in that back leg with a full rotation on that back foot. So let's go into our swing number 2. So I would focus on a lot of tee work, where you're just going to hit that ball up the middle and then hold your swing and freeze and hold it, to soft toss and live to get something more. We got to engage your strength more into your swing and really get yourself creating some power. You can see again how in this next swing we kind of just go forward and you don't really rotate. So right here we should be releasing that barrel. That front should be closed off. This needs to be a little bit more firm. That back side, you can see that foot did not get rotated, and that really needs to rotate. So this knee is going to go into that front knee. And when you're done at contact, we're going to draw that straight line from here all the way up to your head, and you should have a nice angle in that back side and more of a firm front side. But as far as for your bat path is nice, your head's on the ball, you keep great posture. And so you do a lot of things correctly, just a few tweaks. You can see how we didn't rotate anything right there. Your hips didn't get a chance to get through the baseball, and they kind of dragged on us. So really over-exaggerate taking this back foot and staying on the ball of my foot and really rotating that. And on the front foot, land on the ball of the foot as well. But the posture looks great, and I would just work on those things that are going to make a big difference in your swing here. Let's go ahead and look at one more swing here. So let's go frame by frame. So as we go, again, we didn't rotate. We started with our hands inside the baseball, which is good, but we need to engage our lower half more. You can see your hands go forth. You kind of drift up a little bit. At this point, that barrel has got to really release through the baseball. You're kind of leading too much with our hands. And again, we'll get away with it at softer pitching, but as they throw harder at this point of your swing, on this foot needs to really be turned, and this front side needs to be nice and firm with a closed front side. The upper body looks really good. Just make sure that the barrel releases through that zone. And I would take even 2 tees, put a tee in front of each other, and place the ball on each tee and hit through both baseballs. I think that would be a good difference and a good drill for you as well. But just stuff to key off of, and hopefully you picked up some other things at camp. But other than that, we hope you have a great season, and we'll talk to you soon.